Welcome back to Finance News UK, everything you need to know from the week across business, personal finance and investing, as well as everything you definitely don't care about. It's not even got anything on it, I just put it from the printer. We've got a lot to talk about this week, it's been a crazy one, so let's get straight into the headlines. First, some breaking news as I record this, ride-hailing firm Didi is to delist from the New York Stock Exchange. The taxi ride app that was born in China is set to remove itself from the US and head over to the Hong Kong exchange. The company announced today that they had made the decision, and this may be the start of other companies to follow. The news follows discussions from the SEC, who is looking to ensure that foreign-based stocks have to submit a lot more scrutiny on their books. It's been a very bad year for Chinese stocks. Be careful out there. Remember that when you buy stocks like Didi, you aren't actually getting any direct ownership. Instead, you get into the murky world of ADRs and strange listed companies in tax havens. It's been one hell of a week for the markets, sometimes going up and sometimes going down. Popular growth stocks have been hammered down to rock bottom prices this week, with fears of the new Omicron variant heating up or cooling down some parts of the market, as investors just couldn't make their minds up what they wanted to buy. Popular growth stocks are being hammered down whilst investors have been moving their money to traditional value stocks. You know the ones, the companies that actually turn a profit. So boring. It's much more fun to burn through cash. Apparently, inflation isn't transitory anymore, or at least the word is going to be transitioned to something more effective. So we just don't know what it will be yet, so we're in a transitory period of transition. I'll let you know once the transition is complete. The Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell said this week that he's no longer going to use the word transitory to describe the threat of inflation over time because it has no time frame and is confusing people. His comments came off the back of a statement from the US Senator Pat Toomey, who said the money printing meme machine, "I know you believe this is transitory, but everything is transitory. Life is transitory." Wow, that's deep. Very deep. Keeping with the theme of inflation, Joe Biden this week has announced that the US will be dipping its hand into a strategic oil reserves to try to keep down the pressure on consumers at the gas pumps. The US president's comments came after OPEC agreed to increase oil production in January by 400,000 barrels per day in order to support the rising demand of the global economy. Prices at the pumps in the States have been relentless recently, which prompted the president to act and tap into those reserves after being disappointed with the modest increase from the oil-producing cartel. Sticking to the US, Jack Dorsey announced this week that he's stepping down as the CEO of Twitter to finally focus on his other ventures. The billionaire Twitter founder is stepping down after 14 years to focus on his second CEO job at Square, which has also just announced a name change to Block. The digital payments company, formerly known as Square, will encompass several different brands, including the popular Cash App in the US, the music streaming service Tidal, and the cryptocurrency business Spiral. Dorsey now has more time to focus on his delightful beard and also show off his new three-dimensional profile picture on the company's homepage, which has now already become an internet meme. May I present to you Dwayne "The Block" Johnson and also Blocky Balboa. If you also want to get your own Blocky profile photo, don't worry, someone's already thought about that and there is a dedicated website you can visit to Blockify yourself if you're bored and have time to waste. Not something that I would obviously do. Just a warning, if you have a big forehead, it makes you look ridiculous. In Tesla news, it's been a big week for the electric vehicle company, with Musk announcing that the Silicon Valley company will now be moving to sunny Austin, Texas. Elon announced this week that the headquarters of the company will now be located in the massive US state as their massive new Texas factory comes online. Our factory is 5 minutes from the airport, 15 minutes from downtown, and we are going to create an ecological paradise because we are right on the Colorado River. It's going to be great, the businessman explained to shareholders on Thursday. In more news, Elon's internet emails were leaked from his communications with staff at SpaceX as he outlined the possibility that the company could end up going bankrupt. Musk stated that unless the company meets the production targets of the Raptor engines, which contribute to the production of his Starships, that there is a real possibility of the company going out of business. The serial entrepreneur responded in his own true fashion via Twitter, saying, "If a severe global recession depleted the availability of capital or liquidity, while SpaceX was losing billions in Starlink and Starship, then bankruptcy, although still unlikely, would not be impossible." First world billionaire problems. I'll light a candle for them at Christmas. Heading back here to the UK, Selfridges has confirmed a takeover of the company by Thailand's Central Group. The famous department store opened back in 1908 by Henry Gordon has 25 different stores, including the famous Oxford Street store. The current owners, a Canadian family, the Westons, who have owned the business since the early 2000s, have agreed a £4 billion deal to sell the company, including all of its major property holdings. The family still hold major stakes in other UK companies, including Associated British Food, as well as fully owning the other notable department store, Fortnum & Mason's. Ooh, very posh. The new owners, the Central Group, are also a family-operated unit with 52 different shopping centres across Thailand, as well as department store operations domestically and in Indonesia, Vietnam, Italy, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland. Investment manager Aberdeen has agreed a £1.5 billion takeover of popular online broker Interactive Investor this week. Aberdeen says II's chief executive Richard Wilson would join Aberdeen and continue to lead the platform as the asset management sector looks to capture a new breed of investors who tend to be younger and invest directly through platforms. The deal gives Aberdeen access to 400,000 personal investing clients and ends Interactive Investors' one-time ambition ahead of the sale talks for a London listing of its own. Sky News reports that II has around £55 billion in assets under management. Speaking of younger clients, the major youth publishing group LADbible is seeking to go public this year, seeking an eye-watering valuation of £360 million. The group, which owns brands like Sport Bible, Unilad and Gaming Bible, distributes content on social media platforms and monetizes through advertising. The British publisher boasts that its readership amounts to 10 billion more content views than Vice and Mail Online, owned by the Daily Mail's publisher, combined. The company's huge social media following has led to creative success at the Cannes Advertising Festival, Trash Aisles, its campaign to reduce plastic waste. Revenues are said to have grown at a compound annual rate of over 35% in the 4 years to December 2020, reaching about £30 million in the last calendar year. And finally, my pick of the week for either uplifting or interesting news doesn't even come from this planet. I've had to look far beyond for this one. The publication Popular Science has spoken about a planet with a similar size to Earth that has been discovered where one Earth year only lasts 8 hours. Now, if only they could have reported this during lockdown, life would have been a lot easier and we could have all just got through it in half a day. Now, the only downside is that the planet is fully molten with ground temperatures of non-ideal 2600 Fahrenheit. So you would have to bring your factor 50 and a pair of sunglasses, but at least you wouldn't have to stay too long. Scientists have also suggested that the planet might be a place to mentally visualize if you're trying to get through Christmas dinner at the in-laws. Okay, I made that bit up, but you get the idea. That's all the headlines this week. Now time to turn over to our exclusive news sections. In first, let's look at fails of the week. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, fails of the week. A couple of diligent savers in the US are facing a massive tax bill after their gold and silver buying and hodling didn't quite work out as they planned. The McNultys will have to pay nearly $300,000 to the Internal Revenue Services, the US taxman, because their scheme of holding gold and silver inside their retirement account, the Roth IRA, was not legal. Without going into too much detail, the current US law allows investors to hold various different assets within their tax-protected retirement accounts, similar to that what we have in the UK, with most investors choosing stocks, bonds and real estate. Unfortunately, the McNultys had not been holding their assets in a compliant way that has led to them facing a tax bill against their haul of gold and silver American Eagle assets in their safe at home. Sad times. Now it's time for your favourite section where I bring you the funniest memes I found on Wall Street Bets. Welcome to the best of the bets. As the market makes people nervous and growth stocks turn red, only one man can save us. Here's a picture that perfectly sums up the start of the trading week. New investors take note. Those bears always try and grab that salmon. As the Fed looks set to taper, the money printer is no longer making a sound that goes brrr. The Reddit user reversed the popular meme video and it now makes a sound like brrr. And finally, this video sums up the roller coaster ride in the market this week with a classic meme that has been brought to life once again.
It's a bridge. Just goes around a corner.
Just two guys chilling on a fishing trip, trying to have a nice time.
Stocks
Stocks only go up, right? Well, just keep watching.
It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
Always a
No,
classic.
it don't.
It
Can't beat it.
Oh!
Okay, one more then. I'm feeling generous. Just when you thought there were only two types of market trading, a new animal has just entered the fray. May I present to you the kangaroo? So we've now got bulls, bears, apes, and the famous jumping marsupials. I'm sure there's room for one more. Okay, that wraps things up this week. Thank you for joining us as always. Drop us a big like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you aren't already for many more videos. We will see you again for the news the same time next week. In the meantime, to my fellow kangaroos, happy investing. Now I'm going to a charity collection for Elon's SpaceX. Can't have him going bankrupt now, can we?